Ladies and gentlemen, please stand to receive the Town Mayor of Biddulph, Councillor Charlie Smith, the Deputy Town Mayor of Biddulph, Councillor John Jones, and the Chief Officer, Mrs. Sarah Hayden. I call upon Pastor Gareth Davis to offer a prayer for tonight's meeting.
Great, thank you very much. I'm going to start by reading a verse from the Bible and then I'll pray. And this might help you tonight if you get a bit stuck. So it says, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him or her ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given to them. Let's pray. Father God, thanks so much for this wonderful community. Thanks so much for Biddulph, for the way in which people genuinely look out for each other, help each other. And this town council is very much representative of that. The way you all work together, the way you all support each other to help the community thrive is incredibly important. And tonight, as you meet, I just pray that you will have a sense of unity, a sense of fellowship, a sense of a combined goal to want to make decisions that will enhance and help the community of Biddulph thrive. And we just pray that as you all meet together, that any decisions are done with real discernment and wisdom, that any things that are reviewed or looked forward towards are done with joyfulness and with excitement and with enthusiasm. And I just pray that all the decisions made tonight, all the things talked about tonight, will be ones that really, more than anything, unite this town council together so that they can go forward and serve the community of Biddulph together. Amen. Amen.
Thank you. Everyone sit down, thank you. Welcome to the Town Council meeting on 14th of July 26 in the Town Council chamber. Just as per usual, we just need to read the broadcast speech. This meeting is being recorded and will be uploaded to Biddulph Town Council YouTube page. The aim is that decision making should be transparent and in the public domain, which will involve more of our community and local democracy. By being in this council chamber, you're consenting to being recorded and for your image to be added to YouTube. The images and sounds may be used for training purposes. Any views expressed on the speaker's own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Biddulph Town Council. And please view the guidance on recording in public meetings policy if you need more information on that. Thank you. So to go to the agenda, we have firstly item 26, which is public participation and Staffordshire Police. Do we have a representative? Not seen them, no. And to receive an update from County Council representatives, as discussed in the last meeting, I did personally email our county councillors, to which I did have a response today, and they regretfully declined to attend the meeting tonight. So I will go on to item 28, which is apologies. Do we have any apologies?
So we do councillors Hawley, Wood, Eardley, Harper and Franks.
Thank you. Do we have any declarations of interest? Disposable pecuniary interests and dispensations? Are there any? Any other interests? Councillor Darby.
On the financial result, it will give time and check treasury roles to see the ground.
Thank you. That's a solve.
Sorry, I'm not really interested in that to be sometimes being announced.
Thank you. Item 30. Sorry, Councillor Rogers.
So, yeah, on travel expenses, please, for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further? So item 30, the minutes. To approve and sign the minutes of the meeting of the Town Council held on Tuesday, the 9th of June 2026. And if we can go through those, we have 10 public participation, 11 to receive an update from County Council representatives, 12 to receive an update from Jackie Neville from the Middleton Twinning Association, 13 apologies, 14 declarations of interest A and B, 15 minutes A and B and C and D, 16 A and B, 17 to renew the council's commitment to Biddulph being a fair trade community, 18 mayor's communications, 19 standing agenda item, A, B, C, and 20 to receive an update on outside body meetings attended since the April 26 meeting. We have the accounts and finance item 21 tabled A and B. And there were confidential items 22, 23, 24, 25. Are we happy to sign those as an accurate representation of the meeting? Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry, Councillor Parks.
I'm down with some apology from what I was there. And samples. The reason why is because I listened to the lady from Swinny. That was in that meeting.
Jack. So got a pose myself now. We have a show of hands to receive those. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, no. No, just, it's so.
Okay.
Oh, it's on my.
Excellent.
Jobs. Yes, sir.
We will. Is everyone happy for me to skip back to that agenda item? Is it okay for you, please? So to just go back to public participation, we've got PCSO Josh Barnes in attendance. Thank you.
Hello all, sorry about being very late, just literally back from a job. Exactly. Well, there we go. So just over the past couple of months, I've seen we have 40 jobs, not last month, well, from the last meeting. Today's meeting we're down to 23, which is a blessing. Some of us with the seat. I'm still waiting on the data from the World Cafe, but I have been looking with Sarah to see when we've got that data to see what children would like to see a bit of. When I was engaged with, we have seen a lot more engagement with the children when we've having issues. We've then been able to move them on a bit easier without falling out of any other areas. Suffering as well. We have seen there's been a reduced call in Sainsbury's. I'm just thinking is that potentially just the heat or if they found somewhere else to go where we didn't have any jobs yet. But as from my standpoint, we've seen a reduction in social behaviour. Any questions? Anyone makes me aware of anything?
Any questions? Yes.
Yes, thank you. Just a request really. Talk to your regular colleagues. I don't know what traffic enforcement powers which you've got. If you can pass it on. I am getting quite a few complaints about people parking too close to junctions, Brown Alley, Station Road Junction, which is beyond the clearway, so you can leave the real lines. And still got persistent parking at the zigzag lines on the to be crossing at the southern end of the high street, which is obviously a problem with lines and sites and things. And I do continually get complaints about parking with issues causing obstructions around the junction Mall Street and Wells Street where there's a lot of small business there. People just making pay full time. So, you know, I'm sure 1 or 2 tickets which will get spread around these things in the bus. I know it's a lower thing, but it is something that frustrates if we do get a lot of police about it. Thank you.
So for myself, we can't issue the tickets. When I have seen the traffic wardens, any like complaints we can be aware of, I have been then trying to direct them. We get a lot of complaints for like say the hard shoes I've been aware of. I just haven't seen them in Biddulph recently. Did you say they're here every 6 weeks? I have asked them if they can come more regularly to try and combat the issue. Obviously, like I say, I am seeing them, I'm not sure if you guys have seen them about it, but I am aware of the issues. And when I've seen people parking over the yard and zigzags, they make them aware, so like you could be up to £6 and a fine if you get caught, and they moved on. Whether they're coming back afterwards, it's a different story, but when I have seen that challenge.
Councillor Garvey.
Thank you, I'm not questioning this, but just to, well, public record, my thanks personally for organising the event to the young people, but particularly for the efforts of the police in terms of pursuing the theft of the post box stopper and restitution of saving, but it's being offered.
It's been sorted.
Yes, it's been sorted. So thank you very much for doing that on behalf of the village.
Madam Mayor, I think it's indicative, in fact, that the people who now have the contract to send the orders into the village, it is not the same as it was when Staffs Moorlands had their own names. And actually, in fact, I made some inquiries, and in that first year of the changeover, the number of tickets issued dropped by 60%. So if you're not here, you can't net them.
Thank you, Councillor Marshall. Councillor Jones.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Just on Barclay, Josh. I'm going to say this to you because I said it to Cliff Goodwin and I said it to Ben Adams last week as well. On parking, when are we going to stop? When we see somebody parking under the yellow line, walking over and having a word? When are we going to start putting some tickets on? Because that's what we need to do. I'm not expecting to ask the question because neither of them can do it either. But this is what I'll say. I'll keep saying it. We need to make some penalty. And there is a penalty, so let's enforce it. Having a word don't do any good.
I understand that, but like I've stated here with the councillor, as I'm PCSO, I can't issue that.
I know, mate. I'm not having a problem.
No,
Really not.
Again, I would say there'd be response of neighbour officers. If they make my neighbour officer off on the holidays, and the response gets pulled over the whole entirety. So I would like to say at some point, but it depends on the demand in the areas.
Yeah.
As you like your council say, it is some of the low end of the police is upscale compared to like other jobs for the response.
Yeah.
If they could give us that power, that'd be great. But then it's going to have to change by the
Yeah. It just really does for somebody to make money. It just really does frustrate me. Every time we raise an issue like this, somebody will say, well, to see if we'll have a word. Have no words, no.
No, I
What's that caption sends quick tickets? That's right. Thank you, Madam.
If I could just express my thanks, a member of new business on the high street raised to me that there was a high street business that was derelict that had a window missing, and that there had been some antisocial behaviour within sort of 24, 48 hours. The police had boarded the window up, and I believe that those issues are now resolved, unless you know any different. So I just wanted to, if you could pass my thanks on for the quick response on that one. Councillor Rogers.
Yeah, thank you, Madam. Just a quick one, on the CCTV cameras, that's an isolated event, or is that something else? Or not?
I'll say any more reports on it. I think it's the one you can be aware of it.
No, it's very good, but
There's yes, inquiries on going on forward with that. You get that done.
Any further questions for PCSO Hall? Okay, thank you. Appreciated. Right. 30. So if we. Councillor Parks.
If I may, Madam Mayor, just my heartfelt apologies to everybody, and most especially to my new wife. And thank you to everybody who is sort of passing on comments about that. I definitely wasn't here on that because it was almost funny.
Did you watch it?
Well, just don't my commitment. I can't speak while I was in Egypt. That's why I'm looking at that thinking, yes, I've seen that. I've done it. So I apologise.
I think the chief officer already looked sceptical. She was going to check. So, 30B from me to receive the minutes of the Recreation and Amenities Committee held on Tuesday, the 19th of June.
Move it.
Thank you. So the meeting Tuesday, the 9th of June, 2026 in the chambers. Item 1, election of the chair and deputy chair. Item 2, apologies and approvals of any substitute members. 3, declarations of interest A and B. 4 minutes A and B. 5, to receive a letter from staff of the county council in relation to brick bins and to approve a response. 6, burial ground considerations to receive a verbal update on the requirements of the Cemetery of the Year award and the application process. 7, to confirm the town council will apply for the Cemetery of the Year awards 26. 8, to confirm changes to the burial policy. 9, to receive a presentation on headstone costs and styles with the garden of the remembrance of Woodhouse Burial Ground. 10, to consider formalising a children's section within the town burial ground. 11, to consider development of a burial ground friends group. 12, jobs for Lensman, which is the standing agenda item. And there were confidential items 13 and 14. Is everyone happy those are a true reflection of those minutes? Councillor Garvey to second. Thank you. Oh, sorry, and a vote as well, please. Thank you very much. And item 30C, to receive the minutes of the planning committee held on Tuesday, the 16th of June. Thank you, councillor. So the minutes of the planning committee on 16th of June 26. We have 11 apologies and an approval of any substitute members, 12 declarations of interest A and B, 13 minutes A and B, 14 standing agenda items to consider any proposed sites for local listings, 15 planning applications, 16 to consider supplementary applications received since the agenda was created, 17 decisions received, and 18 was appeals. We have for those to be signed as received as an accurate reflection of those minutes.
Impossible.
Get a second. Councillor Jones to second, and can I have a show of hands, please? Thank you. And then D, to receive the minutes of the town community committee held on Tuesday, the 16th of June.
Madam Mayor, may I read of those, please?
Absolutely, thank you. So the minutes of town community committee held on 16th of June 26. In attendance, item 1, election of a chair and deputy chair. 2, apologies and approval of any substitute members. 3, declarations of interest A and B. 4, minutes A and B. 5, item requested by Councillor Yates after social behaviour at the lay-bys in Marcott. 6, to receive an update on Borough Festival activities. 7, to receive an update on transforming the Trent Headwaters project. 8, to receive an update on the chain reaction pre-run bike sales funds. 9, to note that the terrorism threat level has been increased to severe, which will be reflected in the town management. 10, to receive an update on activities with young people, the development of a youth council, and World Cafe events. Meeting closed at 7:15. We've got a second. Councillor Garvey to second. To have a show of hands, please. Thank you very much. And E, last but not least, to approve and sign the minutes of the Finance and Strategy Committee held on the 23rd of June. Thank you, Councillor Rogers. So those minutes for the Finance and Strategy meeting held on the 23rd of June. 13, election of the chair and deputy. 14, apologies and approval of substitute members. 15, declarations of interest A and B. 16, minutes A and B. 17, audit and account matters A, B, C, and D. 18, to receive the year in review 25 to 26 document. 19, to confirm that the UK government has updated the improved mileage allowance payment rate for cars and vans to 55 pence per mile for the first 10,000 business miles backdated to April 6, 26. 20, policy review A, B, and C. 21, standing agenda items A and B, and confidential items 22. Councillor Graves.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to quick ask, without revealing any confidentiality, did you write to them and have they replied?
I did, they have not.
Not surprised. Thank you very much.
23, confidential items 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. 28 is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and J. And that was the conclusion of the meeting at 11 minutes past 7. Can I have a seconder for those minutes, please? Councillor Yates. And a show of hands for me to sign those. Thank you.
May I remove my jacket, please?
Absolutely.
I'm in somewhat of distress.
Yeah. Don't go any further, please.
Not going to, I can tell you.
So we move on to item 31, which is Mayor's Communications. It's festival season, so there's quite a few events. I'm going to keep them brief. So the first event since the last meeting of the Town Council was the SMDC Chairman Linda Mallion's civic service over in Ipston, which there was an afternoon tea and it was incredibly well attended. Lots of civic guests invited to that. Very, very enjoyable event. Lots of opportunities to network with people from across the district and beyond. 21st and 6th was my own civic service at Biddulph Methodist Church. And I have extended some thanks already, but I would like to thank Councillor Reverend Yanyan Case for leading that service. And also Biddulph Ukulele Group for their accompaniment. And all the people who were able to speak on the service as well, including Councillor Jones. Thank you. On the 27th and the 6th, the Youth and Community Zone had a green day where they had a repair cafe and they had several activities where they were reusing items and repurposing, and that was quite well attended. And I was quite pleased to be there and see that. I think the repair cafe does fluctuate from being there to here. And on that day, there were over 22 items that have been repurposed or fixed. On the same day, it was the craft and textiles event in the town hall, which was incredibly well attended. There were so many stalls there that were selling their wares. My thanks go to the organisers of that event for the Biddulph Yarn Barns, especially for organising that. I was unfortunately unable to go into the history wardrobe afterwards, but I am told that was also incredible. On the 4th and the 7th, we had the festival launch day. Some of you might have seen me dressed up as Miss Marple. And again, I'm always blown away by the festival and the parade and the amount of effort that people put into costumes and just wanting to be part of the festival celebrations. Incredibly well attended. It's a fantastic photo of us all on the frontage, as there is every year. And I just feel like it grows from strength to strength. So big thank you to the festival committee for organising that and to the staff on the day. and our officers that help support that, and all volunteers, some around the room that help to marshal that. And to Councillor Rogers for being there very, very early in the morning to cut open big bags of sand to fill up the sand pit. It's not no small task, and it takes a lot of organisation and teamwork. Thank you to everyone for that. I also had the pleasure on the same day of opening the Green Tree House at its new home. They've closed one of the sites now, and they have moved into the building across from Sainsbury's. The same day was also the Biddulph Centre, the Victoria Centre art show. So I had the pleasure of going down there and seeing some of the fantastic art we've produced within our own town. I noted that a couple of councillors have also bought pieces of those art to take home with them, which is fantastic. And it really helps to support that art when it's to be produced and displayed in the Victoria Centre. I'm sure I'm very grateful for that. I also went back to the Victoria Centre in the evening for the Biddulph District Community Orchestra with Councillor Jones. And the theme of the evening was Baroque and Roll. We started off with some very classical music, and we ended up with Guns N' Roses at the end, which was
Interesting.
a journey. But again, absolutely blown away by the talent in all aspects of the town, and a lifelong commitment to playing instruments in an orchestra, and there's so many ages and different people that take part in that orchestra, and it's fantastic. On the 7th, I had the pleasure of meeting the amazing students in the chamber that come all the way from our twin town in Fusignano. We had a bit of a what does the council do? John made them ring the bell and wear the hats, and they had a lot of questions. They were really pleased to see some of the items that have come from Fusignano over the years that are in the display cabinets, and we had a chat to them about what it's like to live in Biddulph and what we do as a council, what our function is. And they were really interested and really engaged in that, which was great. The following day in the morning, it was an early start, 7:30 in the morning, for the parliamentary prayer breakfast downstairs. I've never attended a parliamentary prayer breakfast, and I did not know what to expect whatsoever. But it was incredibly interesting, and it was really lovely to sit in a room full of people sharing our hopes for the future, because that's what the theme of this year's parliamentary breakfast was. And there was prayers that were exchanged. There was lots of very enthusiastic singing along to some of the hymns as well. And it was a really well attended event, and again, a really great event, and I would like to attend that in the future. 10th to 7th, we had the Craig Pickering Beer Festival, and I was really happy again to attend that on the Friday and the Saturday. Again, really well organised, and it was great to see a lot of members in the chamber at that event, some of which behind the bar, some of which running around like a headless chicken, trying to get everything organised and bring people to heel to try and organise things. A little bit of a hiccup on the Saturday that unfortunately there was a very, very unlikely event that England progressed through to the football. And that kind of put a bit of a scuppers on what we were doing in the chamber. But, thinking on his feet, Councillor Garvey was incredibly good at just keeping calm, carrying on, and we played in the hall anyway. And a lot of people were quite complimentary of the different Queen band that he had on at the end. The 11th and the 7th was another busy day. The festival was brilliant up at Biddulph Old Hall, incredibly well attended, an amazing event. We're so fortunate to have that event in Biddulph, and so fortunate to have Biddulph Old Hall in our town. It's an incredible place. It's magical, and it really lends itself to the Festival of Brilliant, which is all about books and storytelling, and the children on the day. To see all of them running around with their happy smiling faces and enjoying the day was just a sight to behold. Really privileged to be invited to that event to take part. The cafe on the stacks was also that morning. And I don't know how they do it, but every week the cakes get better and better. And having cake for breakfast should be a thing every week, and I might do it again this Saturday. On the 12th of the 7th, we have the festival service, the barbecue over at Sunday Just Gone over at the Methodist Church. Again, a wonderful service. The barbecue afterwards was incredible. Had to throw it down quite quick because quick, smart over to the Mayor of Leek service at St Edward's and then the mould afterwards as well. So there was a procession through Leek and to St Edward's afterwards. Again, incredibly well attended and a lovely event to go to, and I wish Lynn all the best for the forthcoming year as Mayor of Leek. And that concludes my very busy festival. And Councillor Jones?
Just, this
That's
is,
also.
this is your moment, Madam Mayor, but I just wanted to mention an event we should have both gone to. But you stood me up because you're doing very well.
Apologies.
No problem. Which was the final service at New Road Chapel in Middlesbrough, which was a bittersweet day. But what a treat it was. I found it absolutely uplifting to be in a Methodist chapel with a full Methodist congregation, belting out Methodist hymns and not a guitar or an overhead projector inside. It was absolute delight. It is a shame because they've been worshipping there for 138 years now. I'm really hoping that as a council we can facilitate some way, maybe help us get that building open, but we'll have to see what can come out of that. But I just wanted to mention it was a sad day, but it was a joyous day as well. Yang took the service along with a couple of others. And apart from a slight hiccup of the Bible, which we won't mention, I will mention it. I'll mention it. There was one of the stewards being the steward there for 60 years. And this was like the penultimate or the ultimate presentation. That I'll read out citations for 12 people, by the way. Should have done 6 each, but they all 12. And this is like the best one. They'll be giving her a Bible for Daniel, I've forgotten it. She left it to tell me the desk. Anyway, very well. So I just wanted to mention that it was an important milestone, I think, to the worship a bit more. And I'm hoping we can find some way about to keep that building up longer. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I think you also said a little bit of events for you.
Oh yeah, but
Including on Sunday.
it's mass communication, not.
Councillor Jones also attended the Staffordshire County Council civic service as well. So if we can move on to item 32, we've got standing agenda items. Item A, to receive an update on the management of town council assets.
After Matt say on that, other than we're trying to arrange a local government reorganisation working group meeting for next week. Obviously, much anticipated decision as regards North, South, East, West, whatever that other life is due this week, we believe. So, to have a local government reorganisation working group meeting next week, but I'll let you know just as soon as we've got a date for that.
Yeah, item B, to proceed and update on health and safety activities.
We've had not much to tell this actually. We've had the district council have had the asbestos people in yesterday and today. They've given a full review of asbestos in the building, so we'll await that report. But we continue to manage that in the same way as.
And C, an update on the Northwest Development Project.
Yes, we've met for the last time before summer now, so the next meeting is in September. But team and I had to renew our first aid, emergency first aid at work qualification. And it turned out to be cheaper to host the session here for 12 people. So 4 of us did it for the town council team, and we put the invitation out to members of the Girls Groups Together group. 8 of them filled the remaining spaces. So that was a really nice thing to offer. So we needed to do it anyway. We needed to pay for that. But actually, we've also then trained 8 members of our community to be first aiders as well, which is really nice to have.
So,
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My queries on the last item. I just wanted to ask with the health and safety brief, how are our staff coping with this relieving? That was really hard for you. We were on And if there is a problem, perhaps I could go on to a finance agenda. We need to think about future with the building and things like air conditioning. This is not going to go away. Councillor Evans.
Yes, just on that very issue, you know, see me struggling a lot up, too much sunshine. Yeah, this is a conversation which we're starting on the staff schools district council to do something on the agenda for a while, but certainly having 3 heat waves and summer as a bit of a start to bring it to a full. And it's very difficult to see how some of these old buildings get converted. So the aim is going forward, obviously, I think LGR staff schools will get away. And that is in the short to medium term, it's to be very cool zones. In some respects, we have a cool zone in this town on the central sections. But I feel that we possibly need another one, if not another 2, that's going to remain more than one to cover somewhere upstairs in saving wise. I think in all council of municipal buildings, and it is an item under the heading adaptation, because climate change, they've actually pulled the board on everything in the sources. I made climate change. It will still go on an increase for the next 20 years or so, which is like in the system. So it is something which we must start treating very seriously. And I think we must plan for, and which we have planned for what we are. We can focus on that as well. We need to focus on that. So thank you very much for raising. Thank you.
Councillor Sol, were you making a proposal? Well, hopefully it goes on the agenda, but I can do that via an email. But just a question by Sarah, how long you think this way? All right. Is it, you know, the beauty of having laptops is that we can take it out home if we want to. So that option is always available. I know we've got lots of plans, we've got lots of, as you said, there's a space downstairs that's cool. We've obviously made that in the most enough times, which I don't know if we've got that, we've offered that out to the community as well. So, you know, if you're in Biddulph and you're feeling hot about it and you need just a minute or two, just to sit receptions, it's really nothing cool there. So we've offered that. So those options are available on the staff. Just that homes are almost as warm as they are here anyway. So yeah, we'll just get on over. Just get on. Absolutely.
Yes, just one point of information really. I do find it ironic, given the climate change deniers in charge of the county, that they are the first ones to change working patterns and working hours as a consequence of climate change. So I think that was noted.
On that, to receive an update on outside body meetings attended since the June 26th meeting. Has anyone attended an outside body meeting that we want to report on? Councillor Rogers.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a couple of updates really. The SPCA at Stanford start with. I took care of some of the Biddulph Works Together flyers to hand around, and we were fascinated with what we do in Biddulph. And we've never thought of a lot of the ideas on there. So that was well attended. And the chairman, Councillor Victor Carey, has been made up to the chair of the South Staff's authorisations authorities nowadays. And myself and Councillor Gates went over to Penkridge to a civic service. That was a nice day. And then on the parish assembly over at Leek, a couple of presentations over there. Asked the chief officer to send you one out about the £1,000 grant that possibly claimed. And people thought you're going to have to spend £1,000 on grass cutting possibly to get £1,000 back. It's nothing to do with that. If you want to do something within your area of any disruption, there's £1,000 to be had there. It's £25,000 to be had out in £1,000 lots. And I had said what describes a village, name or population, said well, it could be an area within your town. So possibly Biddulph Moor or Brownlees or Gilroy, we don't know. So it's something to look at. You may be able to claim £1,000. I'm not saying you can, but you may be able to get £1,000 on that one. And Andrew Stokes gave a presentation on LGR. And I said, we're a bit confused with the assets. Some look the same as others, some have been granted to us, some have been declined. But he gave quite a big presentation on that. And he did say, actually, some councils and councils even naively think that assets will be given away. He says assets will be sold at market value, so be careful what you wish for. But that's something to consider getting rid of in the first place. But says people, like I said, we want a leisure centre. How can we give a leisure centre away? How can you afford a leisure centre? So we've already taken that in the future. So that was the little thing that brought up about LGR. People in this room know a lot more about LGR than I do, just keeping up to date with what you said. So that's very briefly. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Garvey.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. While there hasn't actually been a meeting of the Fair Trade Group, I think this is an appropriate point to actually acknowledge the work to the Fair Trade Group in the accreditation for the Fair Trade community has been granted again. And I think it was our thanks to all the efforts that have done by the Fair Trade Group in terms of promoting activities within the town. Thank you.
And so you may not recognise Councillor Garvey today because he's not wearing a massive banana suit. But he partaking wearing a banana suit for the parade for Fair Trade and was very popular and photobombing lots of photographs that I've seen on him. Councillor Collins.
I think this is an appropriate time, literally, as we're talking about fair trade, there's about the man who was Mr. Fair Trade for so many years in Bill. And the man who was raised £1.5 million for charity has suddenly passed away. And I would like to recommend that we as a town council write to Mrs. Bamford and offer our heartfelt condolences and thanks for everything that John did for this town, for charity in this town over the years. I'll second that. That's right. Absolutely.
Are we all happy to do that? I don't think there's anyone in Middles that haven't come across John sitting in the front of the Victoria Centre selling his chocolate bars. You know, and I think he was very well loved. I think it's nice that we think very well. So something to his family. Thank you for bringing it on. Are there any further meetings attended outside body meetings? Okay. So we move on to item 34 then, which is accounts and finances and table A. Expenditure over 500, expenditure less than 500. We have a proposer and seconder for those, please. Seconder. Absolutely, those are second. And are we all happy with those? Thank you. And we have got some table supplementaries as well. It's here, item B. So that is the expenditure over 500, expenditure less than 500. And I'll propose my seconder for those. Councillor Brady. Councillor Jones. Are we all happy with those? Yeah, Councillor Salt to abstain. And as we come to this part of the meeting, we do move on to our confidential items. So thank you everyone for listening on YouTube. In accordance with the Public Bodies Admissions to Meeting Act 1960, Section 1, the council is to determine which items, if any, should be taken with the public excluded. And we'll move on to that part of that meeting now. Thank you.
I'll speak to Mrs. Birch.